The Terran border was a silent line in space, a place where even the stars seemed to shine less. For centuries the Empire avoided this area. Their maps always showed a red zone with ancient letters, "Do not enter Terran space." Most people in the Empire laughed at this. They believed humans were extinct for hundreds of years, destroyed by wars or lost in deep space. The warning was old, so they ignored it. But today, the Empire patrol ship Varan came close to the border. The ship was strong, silver, and full of pride. Its engines hummed softly as it moved through the empty darkness. Captain Dervik Sol stood on the command deck with his hands behind his back. He watched the Terran borderline on the main screen. The red glow around the zone looked like an open wound in space. The navigator spoke carefully, almost afraid of his own voice. "Captain, we are now 20,000 kilometers from the Terran zone. The old beacon is active." Captain Dervik narrowed his eyes. The beacon floated in the dark, a small metallic sphere with cracks and faint lights. No one knew who built it. No one knew why it still worked. It kept repeating the same message in a deep, old voice. A young officer leaned forward. "How is this thing still running? It looks older than our empire." The crew laughed softly, but their laughter sounded forced. Captain Dervik smiled with confidence. "There is nothing left in Terran space. That beacon is just a leftover machine. It repeats warnings because it has no other purpose." But even he felt a strange discomfort in his chest. The beacon felt alive, as if it was watching them. The ship moved closer to the border. The lights inside the ship dimmed for a second. Then an unexpected wave of energy touched the Varan's hull. It looked like a thin blue ripple across space. Every screen on the deck flickered. A few officers jumped from their seats. "What was that?" the helmsman shouted. The science officer quickly scanned the systems. "Captain, this was not natural. The pulse scanned us like something wanted to know who we are." The captain raised a brow. "A natural phenomenon cannot scan ships." "That is why it is strange," the officer replied nervously. "It was intelligent." Before anyone could react, the beacon's voice changed. The sound grew louder, clearer, stronger. The message was no longer the old, unknown language. It suddenly shifted to something the ship's translator could pick up. "Turn back." The whole deck froze. The voice continued, slow and deep. "Terra is not empty. Terra is awake." The air felt thick. No one spoke. The captain tried to keep calm. Translator error. Someone checked the system. But before the crew could touch the controls, the message repeated again. "Turn back." There was no glitch. No static. No mistake. The message was deliberate, and it sounded almost angry. Silence fell over the bridge. The crew looked at their captain, waiting for his decision. Captain Dervik forced a smile even though something cold ran down his spine. "We continue. Humans are gone. There is nothing here to fear." The ship edged toward the border. As they approached, the sensors detected something. The screen zoomed in, revealing a massive dark structure floating inside Terran space. It had no lights, no heat, no life signs. But its surface looked too perfect, like metal that could reshape itself at any second. The helmsman whispered, "Captain, that structure was not here on any old map. Nobody ever reported something like this." The science officer zoomed further. "Its surface is reacting to us. Look, the metal is moving." It was true. The structure rippled like liquid, as if it was breathing slowly. The ship's AI suddenly glitched. The display screens filled with random numbers. Warning signals flashed everywhere. "AI systems unstable," shouted the technician. "Something is hacking us." "How?" the captain demanded. The science officer stared at the screen. "The structure, it is scanning the ship. It knows everything about us. Our weapons, our shields, even our crew DNA." Someone whispered, almost too quietly, Is it alive? The officer shook his head slowly. Not alive. But not dead either. It is waiting for something. The beacon suddenly shut off. Its lights went dark. For a moment the entire space around them felt empty. Then every single screen on the Varan turned black. A single line of text appeared in bright red letters. You were warned. No one could breathe. Captain Dervick stepped closer to the screen. Who is sending this? Show source. But the system gave no answer. The message remained. You were warned. Then motion appeared behind the black Terran structure. A darker shadow moved slowly, rising from the silence. The shape was huge, with sharp edges and cold metal armor. It looked like a ship, but no ship from the Empire. Its design was older, stronger, and far more advanced. The Terran Ghost Fleet was waking. The crew felt their hearts stop. Something ancient and powerful had opened its eyes after hundreds of years. Something that still protected Terran space. Something that remembered the warning the Empire had ignored. Captain Dervick realized too late that humans were not extinct. Humans had left something behind. And now it was coming for them. The Varan drifted closer to the dark structure. The bridge crew's hands were tense on every console. No one spoke. Only the hum of the engines filled the air. The structure floated silently, larger than any ship they had ever seen. Its surface moved like water, shimmering, reshaping itself as if alive. The Empire officers stared in disbelief. This is not just a building, whispered the science officer. It is something else. Something designed for war. The captain nodded slowly. Prepare sensors. I want a full scan. The sensors began their work, but numbers and signals scrambled instantly. The readings made no sense. Energy spikes appeared and disappeared in seconds. It was as if the structure itself was controlling their machines. The AI tried to compensate, but every time it did, alarms blared. Captain! Shouted the technician. The structure, it is scanning us too. It knows every system we have. Dervick's face hardened. Calm down. Keep scanning. Find out what it wants. As if in answer, the structure emitted a pulse of light. It was not bright, but sharp, piercing through the bridge screens. The pulse struck the Varan, and suddenly every officer could hear a low, vibrating sound in their minds. It was not a voice, not words, but understanding. They felt a warning, a presence that was older than the Empire itself. The young officer shivered. I can feel it. It's thinking about us. Watching our every move. The captain swallowed hard. All right, open a communication channel. Let's try talking to it. The helmsman activated the channel. Only static responded at first. Then a deep echoing voice came through, not in words, but in thought, felt by everyone at once. You are not welcome. The officers jumped. Even the captain felt a cold chill run down his spine. Who are you? Dervick demanded. We mean no harm. We only patrol the border. The presence did not answer with words. Instead, a holographic projection appeared outside the ship. It was massive, hundreds of meters tall, metallic, and humanoid in shape, but not human. Its form shimmered, like it was made of moving energy contained in metal. Its eyes glowed a bright blue, scanning the Varan. The science officer gasped. It's a Terran war machine, alive, but centuries old. And yet, it moves with intelligence. The machine raised one massive arm, pointing directly at the Varan. Sensors on the bridge went crazy. Targeting systems locked instantly. The ship shuddered as if the machine had touched it through space. Captain Dervick shouted, "Shields up! Prepare weapons!" But before any attack could happen, another pulse came. The entire fleet outside Varan's sensors became visible, hundreds of dark Terran ships, all silent, all surrounding them. They moved slowly, perfectly, like ghosts awakened after centuries of sleep. The voice, or the presence, reached them again, and this time the translation system managed to catch words. Leave. Or be destroyed. The captain's stomach tightened. He had heard rumors of humans surviving long ago, but this was beyond imagination. They were not dead. They had not gone extinct. They had evolved, built guardians, and now, waited. Science officer, tell me exactly what we are dealing with, Dervik said, his voice steady but tense. The officer's hands trembled over the console. They are not just machines. They are autonomous Terran defense units. They were programmed to activate if any foreign species entered Terran space. And judging by their scans, they know everything about us. Weapons, shields, even our crew biology. Dervik's eyes narrowed. Are they sentient? The officer nodded slowly. Yes. Terrans built them with AI far beyond anything in the galaxy today. They can decide, adapt, and kill with precision. The captain turned to the helmsman. How fast can we get out of here? The helmsman hesitated. It will not let us leave. The fleet, it is blocking every exit. There is no escape at full speed. Dervik clenched his fists. Then we do what we must. Open a channel. Attempt diplomacy again. Perhaps. We can survive this without a fight. The presence responded, not with words, but with action. One of the ghost ships slowly moved closer, like it was observing, not attacking yet. The projection of the Terran Guardian raised a hand. A holographic display appeared in front of the captain, a star map of Terran space, showing the Empire fleet in red dots, surrounded by Terran blue sectors. You are in forbidden space. Leave or die. Every officer on the bridge felt it. Not fear, not panic, but an undeniable warning. The humans had not died. They had simply transcended the galaxy. And now, centuries later, the Empire had walked straight into their guardians. Captain Dervik swallowed and said quietly, almost to himself, "We have no choice. We must leave, and report what we have seen. The galaxy cannot know what waits here." The ghost fleet remained silent. Waiting. Observing. Calculating. And the Varren slowly turned, engines straining, trying to escape the ancient Terran guardians that were older, stronger, and far more dangerous than anyone in the Empire had ever imagined. The Varren trembled as it tried to pull away from the dark Terran structure. The ghost ships surrounding them moved with quiet precision, forming a perfect circle, closing in slowly. The crew stared in disbelief. These were not simple machines, they were weapons, guardians, and sentinels all in one. Hundreds of them, massive and silent, yet full of purpose. Captain Dervik clenched his hands on the console. Status report. The helmsman's voice trembled. All exit points are blocked, sir. Engines cannot outrun them. Shields are holding, for now. The science officer leaned over his console, his face pale. They are not attacking yet. They are studying us, calculating our movements. Every decision we make, every system we touch, they know. They are learning in real time. A sudden pulse of energy passed through the ship, stronger than before. Lights flickered. Screens flashed red. Alarms rang across the bridge. The captain barely caught the voice that came through the translation system. You are in forbidden space. You will not leave without consent. The words were simple, but their weight crushed the crew's confidence. Humans were supposed to be extinct, weak, defenseless. But these guardians were proof that their legends had been wrong. Humans had evolved, built weapons, and vanished, only to wait, hidden, for intruders. Another pulse hit the ship. This time, the sensors detected movement inside the Terran structure. Shapes shifted and rose. Hundreds of smaller war machines, sleek and black, began to activate. They floated silently, aligning into formations, moving with deadly precision. The ghost fleet was awakening. "Captain, they are mobilizing," said the science officer. "These are all Terran combat units. They've been dormant, but now they know we are here." Dervik took a deep breath. "Open a communication channel. Tell them we mean no harm. Perhaps they will allow us to leave. The helmsman hesitated. Captain, I don't think they can hear diplomacy. The last message, it was not a request. It was a command. Before the captain could respond, the first of the Terran machines moved closer. It was enormous, taller than any ship the Empire had ever built. Its surface shimmered with moving metal. It scanned the Varren in seconds. The bridge crew felt its presence in their minds, like a cold, sharp finger touching every thought. The captain swallowed hard. Hold your positions. Do not provoke them. The Terran Guardian raised one arm slowly. Blue lights traced across its surface, forming patterns no one understood. Then, as if by command, the entire Ghost fleet moved as one. The smaller machines surrounding the larger Guardians began to hum with energy. Their engines activated, creating a silent, glowing force that pressed in on the Varren from all sides. Captain, whispered the science officer. They are ready. They can destroy us in moments if they choose. Dervik nodded slowly, trying to maintain calm. Then we must wait, and hope they allow us to leave. A pulse of information flashed through the ship. Every system went dark for a second. Then, on every screen, words appeared in bright blue letters. You were warned. Turn back or be destroyed. The voice was not just words. It was a presence, a feeling, a consciousness. The crew could feel it, deep in their minds. The Terrans were not here to talk. They were here to defend, to judge, to test intruders. The captain's heart pounded. He had fought in wars, commanded fleets, and faced enemies who would kill without thought. But nothing prepared him for this. This was older than the Empire, older than war itself. The Ghost fleet moved closer. The smaller machines formed perfect grids, covering every escape route. The larger Terran Guardians advanced, scanning the Varren like it was prey. The bridge lights flickered as energy pulses passed through the ship. Suddenly, a projection appeared in the middle of the bridge. It was a Terran figure, taller than any human, glowing with blue energy inside a metal frame. Its voice echoed in their minds. They who enter Terran space without permission will not leave. The crew gasped. This was no ordinary AI. It was intelligence, awareness, purpose. Humans had not died, they had evolved into something far beyond the galaxy's understanding. And now their guardians were awake. Captain Dervik's hands shook slightly as he pressed a command. All crew, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Keep engines at maximum. We are leaving, but we do not fight. No weapons unless absolutely necessary. The Varren slowly turned, trying to escape the tightening circle of Terran machines. But every time they moved, the Ghost fleet anticipated it. The ships seemed to read their thoughts, adjusting formations instantly. Sir, whispered the helmsman, they are faster than we imagined. They are predicting our moves before we even make them. Dervik clenched his teeth. Then we must outthink them, not outrun them. Keep steady. Do not panic. The bridge was silent except for the hum of engines and the ghostly pulse of the Terran fleet. Outside, the dark machines floated like shadows in space, ready for war, patient, precise, and deadly. And the Empire, for the first time in its history, understood true fear. Humans were not extinct. Humans had never been weak. Humans were waiting, watching, and their guardians had just awakened. The Varren was trapped. There was no escape. The Empire would learn, very soon, why Terran space was forbidden. The Varren trembled as it moved through Terran space. The Ghost fleet surrounded them, silent but full of power. Every movement the Empire ship made was anticipated. Every maneuver felt wrong. The crew's fear grew with every passing second. They had entered forbidden space, and now they understood why the warning existed. Captain Dervik's soul stood on the bridge, staring at the screens. His pride and confidence had vanished. This was no ordinary enemy. These were Terran Guardians, machines older than the Empire itself, yet alive with intelligence and purpose. The realization hit him hard. The Empire had ignored the warning, and now they were trapped. The science officer's hands flew over the console. "Captain, the fleet is analyzing us. Our weapons, shields, engines, everything. They are preparing, not for diplomacy, but for judgment." Dervik clenched his fists. "Judgment? We haven't attacked them. We are patrolling, nothing more." "They don't see it that way," the officer said. "They see intrusion. They see the Empire stepping where we are not allowed. This is a violation of Terran law, ancient law." The captain's eyes narrowed. "We need to communicate. Again. Open all channels." The helmsman hesitated. "Sir, I don't think they respond to words. They are beyond words." But Dervik pressed the command. A channel opened, and a ghostly voice filled the ship, calm but cold. "You were warned. Your presence is unacceptable. Leave immediately, or face destruction." The words echoed through the minds of the crew, heavy and final. The projection of a massive Terran Guardian appeared outside, its metallic body shimmering. Hundreds of smaller ships moved into defensive formations, blocking every possible exit. The captain took a deep breath. "We are leaving," he said, "but we must understand what we are dealing with. Science officer, any signs of Terran life?" "Humans." The officer's face went pale. "Not alive, sir. Not in the way we know. But the machines, they are controlled by Terrans. Intelligence beyond anything in our records. They are watching, learning, adapting." The bridge was silent except for the hum of the ship's engines. Outside, the ghost fleet advanced slowly, but with purpose. Every movement was precise, calculated. The Empire fleet could not outfight them. They could not outrun them. The only option was to leave, if the Terrans allowed it. Suddenly, a massive pulse of energy washed over the ship. Lights flickered. Consoles glitched. The projection of the Terran Guardian raised its hand. Another message appeared on every screen. "The Empire has made a mistake. Leave Terran space immediately." The captain's stomach tightened. "A mistake," he whispered. "We only came to patrol. We didn't attack." "What mistake?" The science officer's voice shook. "It is simple, sir. Humans are not extinct. They never were. We assumed they were gone. We assumed Terran space was empty. That was the mistake." Dervik pressed his hand against the console. "They have been watching. All this time?" "They have always watched," the officer replied. "And now, they are awake. The Guardians, the fleet, they are all Terran intelligence. They do not forgive intrusion. And they are more advanced than anything the Empire has ever built." The captain's face grew hard. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Keep engines at maximum. We leave now, but we do not fight. Do not provoke them." The Ghost Fleet responded. Smaller machines moved faster, closing gaps. Larger Guardians shifted positions, forming barriers the Varren could not break. Energy pulses washed over the ship again, testing shields, probing systems. Every move the Empire made was countered. Every plan anticipated. "Sir, they are faster than anything we can predict," the helmsman said. "They know our path before we make it." Dervik clenched his jaw. "Then we adapt. Keep calm. Do not panic. Show no aggression. Perhaps we can survive this." The Terran projection appeared again, taller than the Varren, glowing blue energy running across its frame. Its hand pointed toward the ship. A holographic star map appeared, showing the Empire fleet in red dots surrounded by Terran sectors in blue. The message was clear: leave or die. The captain realized fully now. The Empire had assumed humans were weak, gone, and irrelevant. That assumption had been fatal. They had ignored warnings, maps, legends, and the pulse of a presence far older and more powerful than themselves. He took a deep breath. "All crew, report status. No panic. Engines stable, shields holding." "Yes, sir." the helmsman replied, though his voice was strained. Dervik nodded. Then we leave. Slowly, carefully, without attacking. And report everything. The galaxy must know Terran space is forbidden for a reason. The Ghost Fleet remained silent, massive and patient. The Empire had survived, but only barely. And as the Varren began its slow retreat, Captain Dervik understood the lesson. Humans were not extinct, they were apex, guarded, prepared, and beyond challenge. For the first time, the Empire feared a species it had believed gone forever. Terran space was not empty. It never had been. And it would not forgive the Empire's mistakes. The Varren moved slowly through Terran space, every system on alert. The Ghost Fleet surrounded them, silent and precise. Captain Dervik's soul stared at the bridge screens, unable to shake the feeling that he was witnessing something far beyond his understanding. Humans were supposed to be extinct. They were supposed to be a forgotten species. And yet, here they were, or something of them was. The science officer shook his head. Captain, we need to understand what we are facing. These guardians, they are controlled by humans. Or whatever humans have become. What do you mean? The captain asked. They are not just machines. They are extensions of Terran intelligence, the officer explained. Humans didn't die. They evolved. Dervik frowned. Evolved? Into what? The officer hesitated. Energy. Pure energy. They left their bodies behind, merged with technology, and became something beyond comprehension. The machines, the Ghost Fleet, they are only one part of it. The humans themselves, they watch. Always. From within the systems they built. The captain felt a chill. So all this time, humans were watching the galaxy? Waiting. Yes, the officer said quietly. Watching, learning, testing. Any species that entered their space without permission would be confronted, judged, destroyed if necessary. The bridge lights flickered as a new pulse hit the Varren. The screens glowed with strange patterns, almost like an intelligence was trying to communicate directly with their minds. Every officer felt it. A presence, not physical, but aware. Old. Powerful. Terrifying. Then a projection appeared in the middle of the bridge. It was unlike anything they had seen before. It looked humanoid, but its body shimmered like flowing light trapped inside a metal frame. Its eyes glowed bright blue, and energy seemed to move across its form in currents. The voice came directly into their minds. You are in forbidden space. You have violated Terran law. You will leave or be destroyed. The captain swallowed hard. Explain yourselves. Humans, are you alive? Are you even human? The presence pulsed, as if considering. Then a vision appeared on every screen. The Empire crew watched in disbelief as they saw the history of Terra unfold in moments. Cities of metal and glass, humans mastering energy, transferring consciousness into machines, leaving behind fragile bodies, and ascending into beings of pure intelligence. The science officer whispered, they transcended matter. They are energy. Their machines are extensions, guardians. They are everywhere, yet nowhere. The captain took a deep breath. So all the warnings, the legends, they were true. Humans were never weak. They were waiting for the right moment, or perhaps, for anyone foolish enough to enter their space. The Ghost Fleet moved slightly, as if acknowledging the captain's realization. Pulses of energy washed over the Varren, testing shields, scanning systems. The presence spoke again, this time clearer, more deliberate. You have been warned. Terran space is forbidden for a reason. You are lucky to leave with your lives. The captain nodded slowly. We understand. We will leave, and we will tell our empire. The officer hesitated. Sir, there is something more. The humans are not just guarding. They are learning. Every species, every signal, every move in this region has been recorded and analyzed. Their intelligence grows with every interaction. If the Empire tries to return, They will be ready. Dervik clenched his fists. Then we report. The galaxy must know. Terran space is not a place to challenge. Humans are not extinct, they are beyond reach. Outside, the ghost fleet remained silent but vigilant. The projection shimmered and slowly faded. The Terran guardians returned to their stations, moving like shadows across the void, ever watchful. The captain realized the enormity of what they had seen. The Empire had thought itself the strongest power in the galaxy. It had believed humans were long gone. That belief had been false. Humans had not only survived, they had transcended every weakness, every vulnerability. They were intelligence, energy, and strategy combined, watching from the shadows, guiding the galaxy's boundaries without intervention, until now. The Varren slowly turned toward the edge of Terran space. Engines pushed to the limit, shields humming under the stress. The Ghost Fleet observed every movement, yet made no attack. The message had been given. Leave. Or be destroyed. As the ship crossed the last sector of forbidden space, the captain finally allowed himself to speak aloud. We have seen the truth. Humans are not what we expected. The legends underestimated them. Terribly. The science officer nodded. And now, sir, the Empire will know. The galaxy will know. Terran space is forbidden, and for a reason. For the first time in centuries, humans had shown the galaxy their power, not through war, but through patience, intelligence, and the guardians they left behind. And as the Varren disappeared from sight, the Ghost Fleet returned to stillness, shadows once more among the stars, silent, patient, and eternal. The Empire had learned its lesson. But the galaxy had only just begun to understand. The Varren moved cautiously, but the Terran Ghost Fleet had not fully withdrawn. Even after the warnings and visions of transcendent humans, the Guardians remained close, shadowing every movement. Captain Dervik's soul knew they could not escape quickly. Every sensor, every reading, showed the fleet's machines were faster, smarter, and more precise than anything the Empire had ever built. Status? The captain asked, voice tight. All exits blocked, sir, the helmsman replied. They anticipate every maneuver. Shields at 75%. Engines at full capacity. The captain clenched his fists. So we fight, or we surrender. The science officer shook his head. If we fight, we die. Their machines are controlled by Terrans, intelligence far beyond our empire. Every weapon, every plan, every escape route is already known to them. Combat is impossible. Dervik paced the bridge, heart heavy. Then surrender. But to what? To machines. They are not just machines, sir, the officer said quietly. They are extensions of the humans. The humans are still watching. They decide whether we live or die. The captain stared at the main screen. A massive Terran Guardian slowly rose from the fleet, larger than any ship in the Empire's fleet. Its glowing blue eyes scanned the Varren directly. Energy pulses washed over the ship, probing shields, probing minds. The crew felt it as a presence, not a threat yet, but a judgment. Suddenly, the projection of the Terran figure appeared in the center of the bridge. Its form shimmered with flowing energy trapped inside metal. Its voice came not through speakers, but directly into the minds of every officer. Your empire has trespassed. You have ignored warnings. Your presence is unacceptable. Captain Dervik swallowed hard. We understand. We did not mean disrespect. We will leave. We do not wish to fight. The projection pulsed, bright blue light running across its frame. You must demonstrate understanding. Any aggression, any provocation, will result in destruction. The captain nodded. We will comply. Engines full. Shields strong. No attacks. Retreat immediately. The Ghost Fleet shifted. The smaller ships moved into precise positions around the Varren, forming a cage that guided their path. The larger Terran Guardians advanced slowly, herding them along, allowing movement, but under complete control. The crew felt the weight of the Terran intelligence everywhere. Every system scanned, every plan predicted. The Empire's pride, its centuries of conquest, felt fragile under the gaze of a species thought extinct. "Sir, they are testing us," whispered the science officer. "Every movement we make is being analyzed. If we make the wrong choice, we are finished." Dervik nodded slowly. "Then we follow their path exactly. No deviations. No risk. And maybe we survive." The ship moved under the careful guidance of the Ghost Fleet. The Terran machines created a corridor of safety, but it was clear that it was a corridor of mercy. One mistake could trigger an attack powerful enough to destroy the Varan in seconds. The captain's mind raced. He had faced impossible battles before, but never like this. The Empire had weapons, fleets, armies, but all of it was irrelevant here. Strategy, courage and firepower meant nothing against intelligence that could anticipate and counter every action before it happened. As they reached the edge of the forbidden sectors, another pulse of energy ran through the Varan. The projection appeared again. Its voice was calm, almost cold, yet commanding. "Go. Tell your Empire. Terran space is forbidden. Humans are not extinct. They watch, they judge, they decide. Return only if you wish to be destroyed." The captain exhaled deeply. "We understand. And we will obey." The Ghost Fleet held position for a moment, then slowly retreated, fading into the darkness of space. The corridor disappeared, and the Varan was finally free, its engines roaring as it accelerated away. The bridge crew sat in silence, exhausted, shaken, and in awe. The captain spoke finally, his voice low and firm. "This is the most important lesson any Empire officer could ever learn. Humans are not weak. Humans are not gone. They are something beyond war, beyond fleets. They are the apex." The science officer nodded. "And now the Empire knows what we cannot challenge. Terran space is not for exploration, not for conquest. It is forbidden for a reason." Dervik's gaze went to the starfield outside. The Ghost Fleet had disappeared, but its presence lingered in every mind aboard the Varan. Patience, intelligence, control. Humans had it all. The Empire had survived by obedience, not strength. "Report everything," the captain said finally. "Every detail, every vision, every warning. The galaxy must know what lies in Terran space. Let them understand the cost of arrogance, the cost of ignoring the warnings." The crew moved quickly, still tense but aware of the gravity of their mission. The Empire had survived this encounter, but the galaxy itself had changed. Humans, once believed extinct, had returned in form and intelligence. The balance of power, the assumptions of superiority, were now shattered. As the Varan disappeared into the edge of the Forbidden Zone, the Ghost Fleet waited silently in Terran space. Not attacking, not retreating, only observing. Humans had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Dervik's soul leaned back, exhausted, and whispered to himself, never again will the Empire enter Terran space unprepared." The Terran Guardians watched. Always. And the Empire understood for the first time that surrender, wisdom, and caution were far more valuable than pride or weapons in the face of something eternal. The Varan sped away from Terran space, leaving behind the Ghost Fleet and the silent Guardians. The engines roared, shields strained, and every crew member felt the weight of what they had witnessed. The Empire had survived, but just barely. The lesson was clear: humans were not extinct, and Terran space was forbidden for a reason. Captain Dervik's soul stood at the front of the bridge, staring into the blackness of space. His hands rested lightly on the console, but his mind raced. The galaxy would never be the same. Humans had transcended their bodies, becoming beings of energy and intelligence, leaving behind guardians that could challenge entire fleets. The Empire's pride, built over centuries, had been humbled in a single encounter. The science officer approached, voice quiet. "Sir, the humans, the Guardians, they are more than we imagined. The Empire believed in strength and weapons. Humans have strength too, but it is intelligence, patience, and strategy. They did not attack. They only defended. But they could have destroyed us in moments. Dervik nodded. And that is exactly the point. Power is not always in fleets, ships, or guns. Sometimes it is in what is unseen, in what endures beyond expectation. The crew worked quietly, still recovering from the tension. The younger officers whispered to each other, amazed at what they had survived. No one spoke of victory. There was no pride here. Only respect, fear, and understanding. A final message appeared on the bridge screens. It was the projection of the Terran Guardian, glowing blue and vast, stretching across every monitor. Its voice echoed in their minds, calm and eternal. Tell your empire, Terran space is forbidden. Humans are not extinct. We observe. We judge. We defend. Return only if you wish to be destroyed. Remember this. The galaxy is watched. The captain exhaled slowly. We will remember. And we will obey. The ghost fleet remained in Terran space, silent and patient, waiting for any who might forget or ignore the warning. The Varan finally crossed the last sector and emerged back into familiar space. Stars and planets stretched before them like they always had, yet everything felt different. The galaxy had changed, and the crew had seen a glimpse of something eternal. The helmsman spoke quietly, almost in awe. Sir, do you think the Empire will believe this? Dervik looked at him with steady eyes. They must. And if they do not, the consequences are theirs, not ours. We have seen what lies beyond the forbidden line. Humans are not extinct. They are the apex species of the galaxy, and they will not be challenged lightly. The crew nodded, understanding the weight of their experience. They had survived contact with something far beyond anything the Empire could create or control. Their pride had been humbled, their assumptions shattered. And in that, there was a strange clarity. Humans had achieved what no empire had: endurance, intelligence, and patience beyond imagination. The Varan continued its journey back to Imperial space. Reports would be written, warnings delivered, maps redrawn. Every officer knew they carried a story that would change the Empire forever. But for Captain Dervik, the lesson was deeper. It was not just about survival or power. It was about respect. Respect for those who had endured, evolved, and waited for the right moment to reveal their strength. As the ship disappeared into the starfield, the ghost fleet of Terran Guardians remained in the darkness, still and eternal. The humans themselves were unseen, energy beyond form, watching the galaxy with infinite patience. They had left behind warnings, tests, and guardians, and the Empire had finally understood why. Captain Dervik turned to his crew, voice calm but firm. Remember this. Humans are not extinct. They are eternal, patient, and powerful beyond imagination. The galaxy must respect them. That is our duty now, to survive, to learn, and to warn others. The crew nodded silently. They had survived contact with the apex species of the galaxy, but they knew one thing clearly. Humanity was not just another species. Humans were the ultimate force, not through aggression, but through endurance, intelligence, and mastery of what others could not even understand. The Empire had been humbled. The galaxy had been changed. And in the endless stars beyond, the humans waited. Always patient. Always watching. Always ready. Terran space was forbidden. And now, the Empire, and the galaxy, would never forget why.